Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into one of the most essential tools for anyone working with data, the good old bar chart. We're going to see how DataViz isn't just about plotting points on a graph, it's really about telling a powerful story with your numbers.
So imagine this. You've got a pile of data. Could be sales figures, could be survey results, or in our case today, sports stats. It's just a list of numbers, right? So the real question is, how do you take that raw info and turn it into something that actually speaks to people? Something that tells a clear and interesting story? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, most of the time. You start with a bar chart. It is the absolute foundation for comparing things across different categories. And today, we're going to get really good at making them using Python's Matplotlib library. Okay, for our first mission, we're going to chart the career of an absolute cricket legend, Sachin Tendulkar. We'll take his yearly performance data and use a simple bar chart to really see the ups and downs of his incredible career. So here it is, our raw data. On the left, we've got the years, and on the right, the total runs he scored in each of them. I mean, right now, it's just a table, right? To actually see the story hidden in these numbers, we need to give them some visual shape. And turning this table into a chart is surprisingly easy. The real heart of it is just that one line, plt.bar. We just pass in our years and our runs. The rest of this is really just cleanup. Giving our chart a title and telling people what the X and Y axes actually mean. And boom, we've got a chart. But we've hit our first little snag. It's a super common one. While the bars themselves look right, the x-axis is all wrong. Instead of showing the actual years, Matplotlib just used the default index, 0, 1, 2, 3. That kind of makes our story pretty confusing. But the fix for this is just one powerful line of code. Check this out. On the left, you see that confusing result with the default numbers. But on the right, all right, so that's one player's story sorted. But how does he stack up against other legends of the game, like Sehwag and Kohli? To answer that question, we need to level up our visualization game. It's time for a grouped bar chart. Now, before we even touch the code, let's just think through the logic here. It's kind of like arranging things on a shelf. For each year, we first pick a center point. Then, we just place one player's bar a little to the left of center. The second player's bar goes right on the center, and the third player's bar goes a little to the right. It's really just a simple game of shifting things left and right. And if you look at the code, you'll see it's exactly what we just talked about. We pick a width for the bars, and then for each player, we plot their bars using those little shifts. X minus width, just X, and X plus width. And of course, we're using our old friend plt.xticks again to make sure the years are labeled correctly. And wow, look at the result. This tells a much, much richer story. Now we can make these direct year-by-year comparisons. The chart just shouts out these narratives that were totally hidden in the numbers. You can see Sehwag's explosive middle years. You can see the very beginning of Kohli's insane rise. You can see all three careers unfold at a single glance. Okay, so far, everything's been vertical, right? Up and down. But what if we want to ask a totally different kind of question? What if we just want to rank players based on a total, and we don't care about tracking it over time? Well, sometimes you just got to flip things on their side. And the code for this? It's awesome. So simple. Instead of plt.bar, we just use plt.barh. Yep, that H is for horizontal. And you'll notice the arguments are swapped. Now the categories, our player names, go first, and the values, the total runs, go second. So why would you do this? Well, this horizontal format is fantastic for clearly ranking things. It's immediately obvious who's on top and who's on the bottom. Plus, it's a lifesaver when you have long category names. Think about it. If you tried to cram long player names on the bottom axis, they'd all get squished together into a jumbled, unreadable mess. So, here's the bottom line. It's all about picking the right tool for the story you want to tell. If you're showing how something changes over time, stick with the standard vertical plt.bar. But if you're ranking things, especially if their names are long, switch over to a horizontal plt.barh. It just makes everything so much easier to read. All right, you've got the basics down solid. Now, let me show you a little pro tip that's going to make your charts look super clean, professional, and just instantly understandable for anyone who looks at them. The magic here is a little function called plt.text. We're just looping through each of our players, and for each bar, we're placing a text label right on top of it. We're just telling it, for each bar, go to this specific spot and print this specific number. That's it. And check out the difference it makes. No more squinting at the y-axis, no more trying to guess the exact value of a bar. The number is right there. It makes the chart incredibly easy to read and just removes any doubt. This is one of those small changes that has a massive impact on clarity.
All right, so let's take a quick step back and see how far we've come. We started with just a plain old table of numbers. From that, we built a simple chart, we fixed its labels, we leveled up to a grouped chart to compare players, we flipped it on its side for ranking, and finally, we added those polished professional labels. You now have this awesome set of tools to tell stories with data.
You know, we used cricket runs as our example today, but honestly, the data could have been anything. The principles are exactly the same. So I'll just leave you with this question. What story is sitting there, hidden in your data, just waiting for the right bar chart to bring it to life?